moment of the past? What moment of the future? What sounds or smells or sensations are grabbing your awareness? And then very deliberately and consciously unhook that awareness from all of the sense objects around you. And unhook the awareness from thoughts of the past, memories, regrets, yearnings. And unhook it from thoughts of the future, desires, anxieties. Unhook that awareness and draw it deeply inside yourself. Become aware of being aware. Allow that awareness to expand and spread throughout your experience. Allow it to spread throughout your physical body. Let the awareness become nuanced of every cell, every aspect of the physical being, every breath. And allow it to spread through the mind, an awareness of the waves of the mind, the vrittis. Just be aware. And allow the awareness to spread beyond the body, beyond the mind, into that within you which is unchanging. Just take a moment and drop really deeply. Can you touch that within you that doesn't change? That within you that isn't distracted by sights or sounds? That within you that just is. And there is nothing it is not. Allow your awareness to rest in that experience of isness. If the mind wanders, don't worry, don't fight with it. Just gently bring it back to this very moment, this very breath, and the pervasive experience of isness within you. There's nothing you are not. And there is nothing in you that's changing. The unchanging, eternal, pervasive, infinite you. Slowly and gently, bring the palms of your hands together at chest level in Namaste. And rub the palms of your hands gently against each other. Press the palms into your closed eyes. And slowly lower your hands and open your eyes. Welcome. Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together with you all. We start, as always, with a question that comes in advance from our family joining us from all over the world online through this great gift of technology. And so we start with a question that comes in from them, and then we open it up to any questions that anyone here has. There's a microphone in the center of the room. Don't be shy. Just feel free to come and share your name, share where you're from, and then share the question. But beginning with something that's come from our online family. There are so many methods to control anger. Can you share the technique that you use to manage the same? So for me, I'm a very good question asker. I've always been a good question asker. I was just a kid who always asked questions. I was one of those students in university who everyone hated because I would sit in the front row of a huge lecture hall at an 8 a.m. class and be the one going, wait, I have a question. So asking questions comes very naturally to me, and I've brought that practice into my spiritual practice. And one of my favorite questions is it worth it? That's it. Is it worth it? Rather than telling ourselves, which is what most of us do, you shouldn't be angry, you're bad, you can't even do this spiritual thing right, look at you, you're angry again. Rather than that, don't yell at yourself, don't make matters worse. As it is, you're angry. The last thing you need to be is angry about being angry. Just ask yourself a question. Is it worth it? Maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe your anger is serving you in some way that you're going to realize, oh yeah, this is definitely worth it. But probably not. probably what you're going to realize is, oh my God, it is so not worth it at all. Because my anger isn't achieving anything, right? They say being angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other guy to die. It doesn't work. We think I'm going to be angry, so you're gonna learn a lesson. No. The other person never learns a lesson because we're angry. All that happens is we literally burn ourselves, our minds, our hearts, our energy, our time. We ruin our health, our blood pressure's shot, our blood sugar becomes a mess. We get all these stress hormones flooding our body, our digestion is a mess, reproduction is a mess, all the symptoms of anger are symptoms of a physical body out of whack. Sweaty palms, red face, fast heart rate, high blood pressure. This is physiologically what happens to us. If you take someone who's angry, that's what their physiology is going to be. And you know what the physiology of someone who's like this close to having a massive heart attack is? Pretty much exactly the same. High pulse, high blood pressure, palms sweaty, red. Well, why in the world would we consciously, deliberately create a physiological situation in our body that essentially mimics a heart attack? So ask yourself, is it worth it? Am I achieving anything? I mean, look, if our anger were useful, imagine that you get angry at somebody and they say, oh my God, okay, I'm so sorry, I will never do it again. And they really never do it again. And they've been transformed by your anger. Then you could say, yeah, well, I guess, maybe it was worth having, kind of an increase of blood pressure for half an hour. But that's not how it happens. You get angry at somebody and you start yelling at them. Now, maybe they'll say anything just to calm you down. Don't let mom have a fit, just, sorry, mom. But we haven't actually changed on the inside. All we're trying to do is prevent the person in front of us from screaming, yelling, hitting us, having a heart attack themselves. But we haven't actually changed. So number one, it doesn't actually change anything. Number two, we think, oh, it'll show them who's boss. Like, I'm going to get angry, and then they're going to see. Then they'll know who I am. But it actually always works exactly the opposite. Think about the last time that you can remember someone you knew, or some random person in the street, or random person in a store, doesn't matter where. But people getting angry. Really angry, like yelling at other people. Do we ever respect that? It looks ridiculous. I was invited recently on one of these Indian news channels. Frequently I have the beautiful honor and blessing and opportunity of speaking to different news channels. But recently I was invited on one, and I won't mention the hot topic at the time. It doesn't matter what it was. But point is, I was called onto one of these. I didn't realize when I was invited that it was going to be one of these like yelling back and forth at each other sorts of panel situations. It had been explained as just me being interviewed by the anchor, but when I get on, it turns out that there were 3 other people. And they shouted at each other in such a way. And we've got this beautiful audio-video team. You can see our little boys, wonderful boys over here. And they had set up, they set up the whole camera, computer, Zoom situation. And I'm sitting there watching my co-panelists on the TV interrupt each other every 2 seconds, shout over each other. And I said to one of them, I was like, "Wo to kuch garbad hai, wo to galat wala show mein aa gaya, hum log like I'm on the wrong thing." And they said, "Nahi, Didi, aise hota hai." Like this is how it happens. Now, I share the story with you because evidently it turns out, we don't have TVs here, so I'm not aware, but it turns out that this is something that people actually like to watch, is people basically screaming at each other and bashing each other and interrupting each other. And, it's kind of the verbal world wrestling situation. But the reason I mention it, the point is, you don't look at any of those people shouting each other down, screaming at each other, with any degree of respect. Neither the anchor is seeing them as respect, nor co-panelists. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, when is this hour going to be over? When people seem out of control, turns out the TVs do it on purpose. They purposely bring in people they know are going to get like really triggered and angry and whatnot. But it's not a respectable position. Those we respect are those who actually stay anchored, grounded, who are strong. Spirituality is not about being a doormat. It's not about being a pushover. But it's about not losing yourself due to someone else's ego, arrogance, confusion, rudeness, not being so easily triggered that someone else's words or actions have the power to throw you off. So for me, the way I deal with anger is always ask myself, is it worth it? Is this going to achieve anything beneficial? Or is it just going to ruin my day? Is it going to detract my mind from being meditative, from doing mantra jap, from being in the present moment, from being present with someone I'm speaking with, from being able to be part of some beautiful plan for some charitable humanitarian project, whatever it is. So I share this tool with you because it's something that I have found works for me in every situation, and lots of people I've shared it with say it works for them too. It's really easy. Just ask yourself when you get angry, is it worth it? Because what most of us do is we look for justification to be angry. So we talk to friends, we talk to colleagues, we're like, oh my God, can you believe it? He did this, she did that. And people support us like, yeah, you better be angry. Give them a piece of your mind. The dilemma is that we have confused being right to be angry and having that anger actually benefit us in some way. Just because 100 people would agree that we objectively have the right to be angry doesn't mean that that anger is beneficial. But we get lost. We think, oh, well, she says I should also be angry. Well, all she's saying or he's saying is, you're justified in it. Okay. But our highest purpose in our spiritual life is not to be justified in our bad decisions. Not to have good excuses for why we didn't find anchoring, grounding, truth, light. Life is not about having the best excuse. Life is about showing up to every minute and every moment with as much clarity and compassion and connection and creativity as we possibly can. And anger prevents all of that. So the moment that we realize that it is not serving us in any way, you actually can drop it very quickly. And in that moment, if you still find it's there, just use your breath. The breath is the best in the moment antidote to anger. The lower you can breathe, the slower you can breathe, the deeper you can breathe, the more the nervous system comes down. Yeah, great question. There was a very famous saint who has since passed away who said, "Burn anger before anger burns you," which I always loved. Yes, any questions that anyone here has, please come forward. भैया ये माइक थोड़ा सा बीच में ले आना, थोड़ा सा इस तरफ से आना. Yeah. Good evening.
It's the first time I have come to Parmarth, and it's been my 5th day today. And it's really being so blissful and divine, beginning the day with havans and all the chants, mantras, and ending with this arti and your pravachan. It's amazing, So I'm really upset that, okay, tomorrow is going to be the last day and I have to go back. I hope I go back with this cherished enlightenment and try to live my life the same way. So my question is a little personal.
Okay, no problem.
I would just like to read it.
Okay.
Sadhviji, I lost my mother when I was very young, say around 7 years old, and my father immediately remarried. My stepmother raised me with love. As a firstborn, I always carried a sense of responsibility and belonging. But after my marriage, I got married pretty early in my life, I felt a shift in all their behavior. Recently, my mother also passed away, my stepmother, that is, a few years back, and my father divided everything among only the stepbrothers. And what hurts me even more is that it's not the property which matters, but they never included me to ask me anything or considered my feelings. This neglect has created deep hurt and confusion within me. I'm questioning myself, are these emotions coming from a wounded inner child seeking validation, or from jealousy, or from something deeper I need to heal? How do I understand this spiritual clarity rather than emotional pain?
So, what I have, first of all, I'm so sorry for the loss of your stepmother who served as your mother, and for the choice that your father made to exclude you as he divided it up amongst the brothers. What I've learned about spirituality and these sorts of life situations is that it is that which enables us to accept, so we're not pushing life away, we're not ignoring it, we're not denying it, we're not suppressing it, but that enables us to experience that while simultaneously experiencing also the perfection. And I'll give you a personal example. I shared a personal story, I'll share a personal example back. Many years ago, in 2013, so I took official vows of monastic renunciation, sannyas, in the year 2000. In 2013, so 13 years later, I was in the Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj, which is a very, very holy place. We just had the Mahakumbh Mela this past February. And there was this large, beautiful event, as there are so many during the Kumbh. And I had arrived at this particular event. I had arrived together with Pujya Swamiji, and they had brought us up onto the stage. The Kumbh is huge. I mean, this one had 680 million people, the largest gathering of humanity on earth ever. And what's amazing is, just as a quick digression, no violence, 680 million people together. No violence. People sleeping together, eating together, walking together, bathing together. No discrimination, no violence. I mean, it was just extraordinary. But the sizes are huge. So it was a huge event, a huge stage. And we're brought up onto the stage, and there's several rows of religious leaders on the stage, and they bring Pujya Swamiji into the front row, right in the center, next to the saint whose event it was. And they bring me into the front row, but off onto the side. So I'm not sitting in any way where I can even like look at Pujya Swamiji and kind of make eye contact or get any kind of signal of what to do or anything. And that becomes important in a moment because maybe 10 minutes later, 10, 15 minutes later, one of the young men in seva of the leader whose stage it was comes up to me and whispers in my ear, you know, I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to ask you to move from the stage to the audience. We've put, you can see, this big, large, beautiful chair. We've covered it with a beautiful asana for you. But the stage is just a Mahatma stage. And so we're going to have to ask you to go down. Now, in Sanskrit, the word Mahatma literally means great soul. It does not mean one who is born in the gender of a man. However, colloquially, that is what the word has come to mean. So the point was, we are so sorry you can't be on this stage because even though you are a monastic renunciant, you are still in a female body and therefore of some sort of lower caliber, and you're going to have to go off the stage. So I stood, I did my pranam. I didn't go to sit in the chair. I walked out the back of the stage, and I walked and I walked and I walked until I got to the Sangam, where the three sacred rivers come together. And I was having internally very much what you were feeling, a sense of pain, of sort of injustice, like this isn't fair, this isn't right, you know, who do they think they are? How can you do this? And then it would pendulum shift from I'm right, they're wrong, to they're right, I'm wrong. Because not only are these enlightened masters, but they are, as in the case of the saint whose event it was, actually someone I know very well and had deep respect for. But even more than that, they are representative of a dharma that I have infinite faith in, infinite respect for, a sanskriti, a culture in which I have boundless respect. And so I would pendulum swing on my walk to the Sangam between I'm right, they're wrong, they're right, I'm wrong. And when I got to the Sangam, I sat down and I closed my eyes. And it took me a while to enter a state of proper meditation because I was so riled up. But eventually I was able to calm down. And I sat there until I could experience a spaciousness in myself that was vast enough to include the perfection, the absolute glorious divine perfection of the female form, of my unique individual personal female form, and the absolute perfection of the culture, of the Dharma, even of the leaders who felt rooted and anchored in this culture and Dharma, that what they did was even beginning to be mildly acceptable and okay. And I needed to find that space because I knew that the answer was not either or. It was not the pendulum. It was yes and. It's so easy to fall into the, well, if I'm right, if this female form is not only equal, but is divine and perfect and sacred and holy, well then, everybody who says or acts otherwise is wrong, bad, etc. Or we go the other way. Okay, these are enlightened masters. This is an eternal, perfect way of life. Therefore, I should just do what they say and pray that in my next birth I take the form of a boy. But there was no way I was going to digest that one even for a moment. But as I sat there for those hours in the sacred Sangam, a spaciousness was created inside of the ability for them both to coexist. And this is what I offer you. A love, a celebration of who you are. Not just as woman, not just as female, not just as the daughter, but as you individually in this life. And a love for your father, who in his own karmic package and karmic journey does not have the ability to see this, and hence makes decisions that sting. But as we anchor and ground deeper and deeper spiritually, we realize that every aspect of the physical body is just part of the role we're playing. At this particular intersection of time and space, this particular scene of this act, of this, part of the divine Leela, the cosmic drama, you get to play that part. I play this part. He plays this part. She plays that. We're playing roles we've been given. Some are female, some are male, some are not even human, some are trees, some are animals. We're all playing roles we've been given because the roles are exactly perfect for karmically what we need to learn and unfold in this life. And so don't allow the perfection of your embodiment and incarnation to be challenged or undermined in any way by someone else playing their own karmic role. It's not up to someone else to validate your existence. Now, we would love it, especially, in your case, it's a parent. It's very different from a cultural, religious situation. But nonetheless, he's here, your dad, in his karmic journey, with whatever viewpoint that, from an objective standpoint, we can say it's limited, it's contracted, it's, discriminatory, it's ignorant. We can label it in all sorts of ways. What I would bet you is that if called upon to defend his actions, he would defend it and explain it in a way that emphasized how much he loves you, but how this just seemed, in his vision, the right thing to do. In the same way, the leader who had me thrown off the stage is actually someone who loves me on a very paternal sort of level. And yet, in that moment, for whatever karmic lesson I needed through that powerful meditation that I had on the Sangam, which was so much more of a powerful spiritual growth experience than if I had simply continued to sit on that stage. It was a transformational moment for me. allow this pain to be something that transforms you, that enables you to find the love for him, even in the face of what he's done. And you may even find yourself wanting to talk to him about it as well. Not from a place of accusation, but from a place of curiosity. Place of curiosity. But try that meditation, the yes and spaciousness, the perfection of you, and the perfection of Dad. That it's not either or. But see if you can find that place. Because that, on a spiritual level, is going to be the most healing thing.
Thank you, Sadhviji.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yes, in the back.
Good evening. Namaste, Sadhviji.
Namaste.
My name is Mank, and I'm from Mumbai. I feel that there were signs that we had to be here. I'm here with my wife.
Wonderful.
And it's our anniversary today.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Sadhviji, there's been this question that's kind of very puzzling to me. And I'm very eager to understand an aspect of this question. I've just tried to frame it in simple words. I've heard that moksha means liberation from the cycle of birth and death. It made me wonder that sometimes a wealthy person might feel satisfied and not want to escape this cycle, while someone facing hardships might desire it more. Does moksha mean different things to different people, or is its true meaning universal?
Great. Moksha, liberation, that means the same for everyone. But what drives us toward moksha, what creates the yearning in us, absolutely may be different. For most of us, it arises out of some degree of pain and suffering in this physical life. That's too bad. It's sad, because what it means is that when everything's going fine, we find ourselves not so strongly on a spiritual path. There's a beautiful story of a female saint who had the power to kiss away the wounds of leprosy. That wherever she would kiss, it would heal and there'd be no more wound. And so people would come to her all day, every day, and she would hold them and kiss away the wounds. But she always would leave one wound. And one day one of her disciples said, "Ma, why, when you have the power to rid them and cure them completely of this disease, why do you leave one gaping wound?" And she said, "Because that one wound will keep them calling out to God." It's like that beautiful moment at the end of the Mahabharat war when Bhagwan Krishna says to Kunti, basically, "Kuch bhi mango, let me give you something. Ask anything." And she says, lifetime after lifetime, give me suffering, give me sangarsh, give me troubles. Because what I've seen is that when everything is going very well, you seem very far away. But in our times of deepest anguish and pain, you are very close. So, for most of us, we find ourselves on that spiritual path, due to some aspect of pain. But here's a little secret. Wealthy people are not inoculated against suffering. There's just as much suffering, but it's suffering on a different level. So in poverty, there's logistic suffering. Hunger, cold, lack of ability to fulfill the needs of a family. But what I've seen in the first 25 years of my life living in Los Angeles, quite literally in Hollywood, and then the last 30 years of my life here, meeting people from all over the world and traveling all over the world, is no matter how much we have, it's never enough, because the emptiness is inside. The suffering is inside. And to the extent that I believe that having more is going to alleviate my suffering, I actually suffer more. Because I keep getting and getting and getting, spending my time, spending my energy, forsaking everything that actually brings joy in the moment, in this illusion that when I get more, then I'll finally be happy. And I keep getting more, but I'm not any happier. In many cases, I'm worse off, because now I need to, protect everything I have. For chokidar ko hire kardna. For chokidar ko watch karne ke liye another chokidar has to be there. Now I'm worried about what's going to happen to what I have. Right? We have so many stories reminding us about that. So wealth is by no means an inoculation against suffering. And, it's what we're talking about in the Arti today. The Buddha is exactly the example. A prince with everything. So we're all suffering until we turn our mind and attention toward the truth, toward our soul, toward the divine, toward that oneness. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor. Interestingly, people who are wealthy, actually from what I've seen, have somewhat more, oddly enough, of an inclination toward the spirituality because they've got more time. Because there's a degree of freedom of time and mental energy. If you're so poor that you don't know how you're going to feed your family tonight, meditation is the last thing on your mind. Doing your mantras, the last thing on your mind. Atma darshan's the last thing on your mind. You're trying to figure out, how am I going to put food on the table? So every type of life has its challenges and has its blessings. But ultimately, where we need to go is the same for all of us. But yeah, we're going to come there differently. Beautiful. Yes, of course. आप कल भी है अपने साथ? कल है? अच्छा चलो ठीक, तो ये लास्ट में ले लेते. We'll take this as the last question this evening.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
मैं फर्स्ट टाइम यहाँ पर आई हूँ, बिल्कुल टोटली मेरे लिए सरप्राइजिंग है ये, और आपसे मिलना, महाराज जी से मिलना, थैंक यू वेरी मच. एक ये पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है. मैं थोड़ा सा वैरागी टाइप की लाइफ जीती हूँ, मुझे किसी चीज़ में रास नहीं आता, और सिंस माई चाइल्डहुड मैं थोड़ा सा स्पिरिचुअल हूँ, और अब मेरी स्पिरिचुअलिटी ध्यान की तरफ चली गई है, और ध्यान की तरफ मैं एनर्जी को फील कर पाती हूँ, चक्रास को फील कर पाती हूँ, और इंसानी रूप में मेरे पास में भी कोई गुरु नहीं है, तो मैंने श्री महाकालेश्वर जी, जिनकी मैं इष्ट हैं मेरे, मैं उनको कंसिडर करके आगे अपनी यात्रा चालू कर रही हूँ. तो मेरे मन में एक बहुत क्वेश्चन आता है कि मैं कौन हूँ और मेरी आगे की जर्नी क्या है. मैंने अपना घर छोड़ दिया है, और मैं एक बाय प्रोफेशन में कंसल्टेंट हूँ. अब गुरु भी नहीं है और एनर्जी भी फील करती हूँ, बिना गुरु के अगर वो एनर्जी आप समझ सकते हैं ज़्यादा, फिर वो कुछ भी हो सकता है, तो उसका मार्गदर्शन करें. मैं क्या करूं? मैं स्टॉप तो नहीं करना चाहती, बट आई नीड द सजेशन. व्हाट कैन आई डू?
Wonderful. आप बस आगे बढ़ो इसी path में. She's asking, for those of you who don't speak Hindi, just very quickly, basically that she's been spiritual since childhood, not very attached to things at all, not materialistic in any way, not really needing much, on a spiritual path, but she doesn't have a guru in the body, but is following different practices, meditates, feels deep, powerful energy. So she's wondering about her next steps. Just keep walking this path. Keep walking the path. Keep doing the meditation. जब तक एक गुरु सामने नहीं आते, so allow yourself to just gain wisdom. There's so much wisdom that is out there these days, so much accessibility, so much availability of so much wisdom. So allow yourself to absorb it, but also allow yourself to be aware that having a guru in the body is a wonderful benefit, and so allow that to be part of your prayers if it is something that you want. God, send me the guru who will give me the margdarshan. And if you are sincere in that yearning, and you're sincere in the self-purification of mind, of thought, it'll happen for sure, 100%. And until then, just allow yourself to soak up as much wisdom as you possibly can, and keep with the path of meditation, keep with the path of vairagya, keep doing exactly what you're doing, coming to tirthstans. Yes?
When I do meditation, my body act, my head act, eyes act, gardan, like neck act, hand act. I feel kampan in my body. I feel something, I don't
energy
know,
in the body.
Energies, yeah, very good energy I feel.
Wonderful.
I asked to Mahakaleshwarji that actually give me Shuddhi,
Yes.
give me Guruji. Okay, and I consider whatever is happening, I completely surrender myself to him.
Yes, beautiful.
I just wanted to know what is the next step.
Keep doing it.
Okay.
Don't get lost in it. A lot of times what happens in meditation is we'll have different experiences. Some of them are sensory experiences, feelings of energy flowing through in different ways. Sometimes they're visual experiences, even the eyes are closed, but we see certain lights, certain shapes. All sorts of different types of things can happen. Don't get lost in them. Meditation should not be about a collection of experiences. That's a distraction. Meditation is that which frees us of that. If through your meditation you're just collecting another role of like, oh yeah, I'm the one who in my meditation, ye hota, wo hota, iska darshan. It's just another role. It's just making you more and more stuck. Aapko fasayega. Energy is happening, wonderful, let it happen. But you keep the awareness here. Don't get lost. Some light appears, some color appears, some yantra, some shape. Let it appear, let it do its thing. You just keep coming back to that place of awareness. Your role is not to get lost in any of it. Just let it happen. Total faith and surrender. But don't get wrapped up in the drama of it, because that just becomes another story. Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Of course. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. A beautiful morning and day to all of our family joining us from all over the world online. And so much love to all of you. And I look so forward to being together tomorrow.